How's it going, everybody? Eddie Hates Anime here, although there is one anime that I do not hate. Hero Ball, also known as the NBA anime. It's a little series that Bleacher Report comes out with every now and then that essentially covers current NBA happenings in the form of anime. When I found out about this, I was elated, as I used to watch Game of Zones back in high school. That shit was hype. If you don't know what Game of Zones is, I'm sorry, but you missed out on peak. But it's essentially the same thing as this, just it was a cartoon parody of Game of Zones that covered current NBA happenings way back in the day. But seeing as this is seemingly Game of Zones' spiritual successor, I knew or at least hoped that it would be fire going into it. I will say a couple of things leading into the video because it's a very different anime than your traditional anime. Obviously, I'm not going to pretend that this is some Madhouse production or something. It's a parody, and if you don't keep up with the NBA, you probably won't enjoy it, or at least not as much as someone who does keep up. At a surface level, for them it would still slap. They would probably get the more obvious jokes. Now, if you keep up on a more than average level or an obsessive level, such as myself, it will go even fucking harder. Because every moment is a reference or a joke. There's a lot of jokes in the NBA community, a genuine crazy amount. It's even seeping outside of the NBA community with like LeBron memes and stuff. And this series takes advantage of that. But also the anime references, using references such as Dragon Ball. I think there's a Durara reference somewhere in there. Astro Boy, Power Rangers, Naruto, Hunter x Hunter, I think. There's just so many, it would take all day to name them, but you get the point. The series not only tests your NBA knowledge, but also your anime knowledge. Each episode is about 3 to 4 minutes long, but closer to 3 because the anime opening and ending, which I will say, slap. The openings especially. Low-key surprised. We'll start off by talking about Season 1 and why I love it, then Season 2. Either way, unlike normal, not really spoilers since this is based off of real life. I can't spoil real life. So let's talk about it. Season 1 follows what I assume to be the last season of the NBA, off of context. The overarching plot is this. Like any sports league, there are up-and-coming young players that are coming to make their mark and be the next big dogs of the league. But on the other side, there are the aging players. There is the association, what we call it, led by LeBron James, but also joined by other players like Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, other players that are in that era and making their way towards an exit of the league because they are in those older years. And the association's goal is to stop the younger players from taking over the NBA or the league. I don't know what they call it in this universe. Just taking over. Taking over the land. So even though they're on different teams, the association comes together to face a common enemy of the protagonists, which are the young players. Although there is a different main protagonist each episode, for the most part, it follows these younger players because they are the rising stars or current stars of the league. While, like I said, the veterans are still there, presence is still made, but they're on their way out. So it's very fun seeing these familiar faces being the villains because we've seen them all these years in real life, and in the story, seeing them not give up, but on a petty level to where they would stoop to stop the younger players. It's so good. It's so good. That's the gist of the main plot, although that's more in the background. Each episode mostly focuses on individual plots because there's certain points in the season when different things happen, so you know, it follows stuff like that. There's episodes talking about certain games, certain trades, certain risings to stardoms and stuff in both seasons. But even in season 2, it does continue to where the changing of eras is worrying for the association and they're trying to hold on to that power. More about that when we talk about season 2. A side note, it is really funny how everyone in the series looks normal and Jokic looks fucking crazy. An actual supervillain. Why would they do the same? Maybe that fits, maybe it doesn't. Depends on what team you're rooting for. I don't know, but kind of adding on to that, I also love how this series exaggerates everyone's personalities, gives them distinct character traits, you know, kind of like an anime. I know it's not groundbreaking or anything, but I just think it's amazing. The creativity as a whole is just so fascinating because, yes, it's a goofy little series, but they even give them powers that match their IRL games or techniques that they use in the game. Or things that happen, like James Harden is called the Traveler. Like, he'll come do one spell and dip because the joke of him traveling with the basketball. You know? But I don't know. I think it's really smart. I think it's a really well thought out, all around impressive thing. And this is why the NBA is my favorite league, or at least a big part of it. Obviously, it's not just the memes, but other sports don't give me memes on the level that the NBA does. I'm not saying that they don't exist. I'm just saying that they don't hit as hard for me as the stupid shit we see in the NBA. And just the sheer amount. You cannot go a single day without a new NBA meme popping up, it feels like. But onto like actual good, super crazy cinema. in season 1 at least, is the Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving saga. Actual peak. It goes through them, starts at teammates, and it references all that. Now they're on different teams because right now they're in the Mavs and the Suns. They used to be on the Nets together, if you don't know. If you're still watching this video, I mean, I'm assuming you probably know what happened. But there was a part where they're about to fight, and as they're about to exchange blows, it shows them in each of their past jerseys as they get close and close to each other. It felt like Naruto and Sasuke, seeing how much they've changed over the years in them now. It was pretty good. So like that was a really good episode. And there's some other really good episodes. I like the dynamics and seeing the players interact in the series. I also like the season format, essentially following the NBA season in real life, where it's funny memes and small stuff during the season, and then they lock in for the playoff episodes. That's when shit gets real. In season 1's case, it felt like we were right about to get a championship episode at the end, but then instead of that, we got a time skip to the draft. It kind of felt like we skipped an episode and instead got an episode about Wembanyama, narrated by Popovich, and who's going to get him. But I do think that's kind of smart, because imagine that in an anime. Like if there were a bunch of rivals infighting, or some anime like where there's a big old competition in different factions or something, or whatever, and there's a generational fighter or a generational warrior that could join any of those squads. We don't know which one yet. Motherfuckers would fiend for them. So even outside of NBA terms, in any anime or story where shit's already tense, and then a new challenger joins to shake things up depending on what squad he joins, that's hella lit. It is hella lit. And I'm not gonna lie, I do feel like such a nerd for comparing real life events to anime, or like gamifying it to make it sound cool or whatever, but this is literally a video about the NBA anime. What else do you want me to do? There's nothing else I can do. And like I said, I don't want to spoil season 1, but this is, we know the Nuggets won the championship. We know they won it all. And like I said, I know we didn't get a championship episode at the end to see the Nuggets win it all. However, I like what they did in season 2. I was not prepared for it. It starts off covering the end of the championship shit that we missed, showing Jokic cooking Jimmy Butler, but it was for Jimmy Butler's development from his point of view. And funny enough, now that we're at the time of recording this, Jimmy Butler's not in the playoffs, so the development didn't really mean anything. But, you know, it wasn't just Jimmy. It led into the season, started by making fun of the Damian Lillard trade saga, which is not only fun in real life, but hilarious here. Kind of a theme for the show if you haven't caught on by now. Also, that episode gave us the anime version of Emo Jimmy. Absolutely goated. I already mentioned this at the start, but specifically season 2's opening was so freaking good. What I didn't mention is that I like it more than season 1's. It's surprisingly cooked even harder. What I'm trying to get at is Bleacher Report, we need the full versions. Now season 2 cooked. It gave us insane lore. We find out that all the stars meet up for a sacred ritual, and it kind of low-key highlights the whole point of the series. What is a hero? Or in NBA terms, what makes a star? Can you surpass those who came before you? Can you carry a team? Can you carry yourself with the media? In Anthony Edwards' case this episode, it was about whether he could become a defender or not. But for other heroes in this universe, I imagine the tests varied wildly, because different players that could become stars have different expectations, different fan bases, different holes in their game, different everything. So that was an example, once again, kind of like the Kyrie KD thing, where I actually thought, wow, that's actually very fucking cool. Also, these cars have better CGI than Berserk 2016. Moving on, Jimmy Butler has a domain expansion? Not that we actually see it, but I just find the JJK reference amazing. Happy that it's now at the point where it's being referenced. Jalen Brunson, however, might have gotten my favorite episode of season 2. Not including the LeBron one at the end, because wow. But that's kind of cheating, because that episode was built up to forever. This was a one-off episode, because obviously Jalen Brunson's rise to stardom didn't happen to this level till season 2 was being made. But I like how they use his episode to frame lore or talk about past events and make them anime-ish or legend-like in terms of myths, like these, you know, long ago, or traditions. They do that throughout the series too. I just think it's really cool making these myths about the NBA essentially, but telling them in this more fairy tale story type of way. Jalen Brunson also heals with good vibes, so that's a little bit OP. There was also a Susanoo battle, or however you say it, sometime in here, so that was crazy. We might need to eventually power scale these characters, because these abilities are fantastic. But let's move on to a more important thing, because even if you don't watch the NBA, I know you know who LeBron is. And season 2 gave us more of Bron. Like I mentioned with the season 1 part, he is the main leader, main villain of the association. He is that guy. And we do see a little bit of him in the in-season tournament episode in season 2, but we also really get to see him in this one episode. I forgot which episode it is. I think it's second to last, where he is the main character of that episode. It is his episode. And we finally get to see him for more than 2 seconds. He's such a good villain for the series. And it's just unfortunate that in real life, and I'm saying this as a Lakers fan, unless some shit changes, we are not seeing him in the finals. But hey, LeBron might leave us, so maybe he'll see it. But I don't know if the Lakers will see it. And I like that even earlier in the season, his whole villainy is boosted by wanting to pass MJ. Or whoever this is. Who is this? Maybe we haven't unlocked him yet. But it's just like, once again, poking fun at these real life things and translating them to this type of setting. I love it. I eat this shit up. But like I said, this is the real LeBron episode. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy. With cool showings of his past battles, how he got here from where he was, how he won't let people bullying him like they did in the past, and different teams used to go harder against him, and now he won't let that ever happen ever again. Thanos parallels with his rings equating to stones and powers and stuff actually peak. If you're a LeBron meat writer, this episode's for you. The whole episode is a 1v3 against the main 3 players of the Warriors, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Stephen Curry, y'all know that. And he cooks. The ending of this episode even ruins the power scaling, which is kind of a flex in my eyes. If you're so OP, you can ruin the series power scaling. Oh my god. LeBron, what can't you do? Besides maybe memorizing rap lyrics, but you know, who needs that in fighting? Or in real life basketball. The last episode of season 2 ended on a cliffhanger for this year's playoffs, but you know, those are going on right now. So you can watch the source material before the anime adapts it. At the time of recording this, Pacers against Celtics just happened for game 1 of the conference finals, and then tomorrow's the first game of Mavs Timberwolves, so there's only 4 teams left. And I actually started a podcast called The Casual Show with my homie Logan, and we did just predict our predictions for the conference finals. I don't remember what he said, but I remember that I said Celtics will probably get it in 5, and that the Timberwolves will probably get it in 6. So it's going to be kind of funny if I'm promoting this podcast right now, but this video comes out way later because it's not going to come out for like another few weeks, this video, and those guesses are wrong. Those predictions are wrong. Because then I'm over here like, yeah, guys, check out my new podcast, The Casual Show. We're sharing basketball knowledge. And then I go to say something that's wrong. But hey, hope you guys still check out the podcast, The Casual Show. It is essentially a basketball sports podcast where me and Logan talk about current NBA happenings, current WNBA happenings, other things. And we have a lot of fun. We try to chill. We don't try to get too crazy serious, analytic on it. Sometimes we get into the analyzing, but it's pretty much 2 friends talking about sports. So go subscribe if that sounds fun to you. If you're watching this video, I'm assuming you like basketball, and that's what we talk about. So please do us a favor, check out The Casual Show. But before we end the video, I gotta give shoutouts to my favorite characters in this anime. Giannis is cool. Ja Morant's pretty slick. Damian Lillard is hella cool. Thing around his neck, he got that on. Kyrie is hella cool. KD is super weird because the robot thing, but I like it. Anthony Edwards with the Kevin Garnett sensei-student combo, amazing. Shaq and Charles kind of got done dirty, but they're awesome as well. And of course, LeBron as a villain. And after that one episode, Jalen Brunson is him. But I also think he's him in real life. So I'm not gonna lie, the aura, amazing. But yeah, not much else I wanted to say or do except spoil this entire series. But it's hopefully not over yet. Maybe some new episodes soon. And if we do get them, you already know I'm gonna be peeping. Subscribe if you're new. Subscribe to The Casual Show, please, please, please. Link in the description. Like I said, it's me and my friend Logan's basketball podcast. At the time of this video coming out, there should be like 2 podcast episodes, some videos, some shorts. Please check it out. It's a great time. And subscribe here maybe if you haven't. Like the video. Share it with your friends. That's all I got. Enough promoting. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. I am out.